At $22,850 in per pupil spending, California's budget is now funding students at a rate on par with many states in the Northeast who have traditionally led the pack. In contrast, Mississippi's per student base funding amount is just $5,829. The quality of education, including facilities, teacher experience, and access to technology, is all tied to per pupil spending. Those students in districts where per pupil spending is higher are more likely to pursue and fulfill higher education. Wealth allows extracurricular resources such as college aid programs and counselors. At Saratoga High, we have our very own. Brad Ward has worked in both the private and public sector, assisting high school graduates into the college or university that will provide them with success. Here's what she has to say about how access to resources, or lack thereof, affects the ability to pursue the college track.
College and Career Center advisor basically is anything related to after Saratoga High School. I switched to basically South San Francisco, a low income, a lot of first generation, a lot of English learner, undocumented, and the world of college admissions is a whole different world when you're in that environment, where there's no experience with college within a lot of the families, and they don't even know where to begin. Whereas if you are at a high school where the parents have attended college and a lot of the older siblings, they just know how it goes. Another big difference was technology. When you're a lower income student and family, quite often you don't have your own personal device, and at best you might get a Google Chromebook, which is not always that really strong of a device to use. And sometimes it's the only laptop all of a sudden in the entire family. So the parents want to use it, siblings want to use it. Literally, students would tell me neighbors were coming over to use their Chromebook from school because they didn't have their own laptop.
The current standards, an expensive process, and high academic expectations reward those who have money or are legacy students. If access to higher education isn't more equitable, the wealth gap will only expand as people are stuck in a cycle. This cycle started almost 90 years ago with redlining, a practice that economically separates and heavily affects educational opportunities by rewarding wealthier districts. People who benefited from the extreme programmings of redlining almost 90 years ago have paid a smooth ride for their kids and generations to come back in the 30s. These continued legacy programs have stretched the wealth gap unbelievably. Looking back to the 1920s, when redlining and other programs with similar intentions took hold, the top 10% owned an almost proportional 12% of all wealth in the country. In 2022, the wealth gap in America reached an all-time high of 68% of the country's total wealth in the hands of the top 10%. Redlining especially brings up problems for people of color and low-income communities who are excluded from wealthier areas. Redlining is racial segregation disguised as economic division, which makes it very easy to target and underfund minority neighborhoods. Because districts in communities with a higher property tax receive more funding, predominantly white and Asian neighborhoods receive better quality resources. Here is a graph of graduation percentages by ethnicity. AVID is an example of a program we can donate to that can aid students who are the first in their family in the position to attend college. Holly Royalty, a history teacher at Saratoga High School, worked as a former AVID mentor.
In AVID, we focus on really learning how to do deep reading, how to do various types of writing, but also how to study, how to problem solve, how to work through a particular problem, a lot of collaboration. So actually how to engage in a study group that's moving beyond just completing an assignment, and moving into more conceptual understandings of whatever is being studied. I think one of the differences I'm noticing here is that students have the resources to apply to 15, 20, 30, or 40 colleges, which to me is just unheard of. At my last district, there were schools that were very affluent on the border of Los Gatos, and then there was my school, which was like literally across the tracks in San Jose, where the students, I think close to 60% of students were on free and reduced lunch. To give you some comparison, at Saratoga, I think you have 3 students total.
AVID builds foundational skills crucial to learning that many poverty-stricken schools fail to establish. It's up to us to support these programs directly and fund those in need.